Fly, fly, fly. Scoochie, huh? Woo. I drink till I'm drunk, smoke till I'm high.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hello everyone, my name is Danendra Ahmad and I am from Group 4, and then this is my other friend.
Hello, my name is Alif and I'm from Group 4.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Irsyad. I'm from Group 4.
My name is Lintang Perwira from Group 4.
So today our group will explain about value orientations and behavior. And then it will start from me, and then I will explain about Hofstede cultural dimensions. Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory is a framework for cross-cultural psychology. Developed by Gerd Hofstede, it shows the effects of a society culture on the values of its members and how these values relate to behavior using a structure derived from factor analysis. Hofstede cultural dimensions also identified four dimensions that he labeled, which is individualism, collectivism, masculinity and femininity, power distance, and uncertainty avoidance. And then in 1984, Hofstede and Bohm discovered a fifth dimension, a Confucian work dynamism, which is long-term orientation versus short-term orientation to life. And then the last one in 2010, Hofstede and his co-authors add a sixth dimensions, which is indulgences versus self-restraint. Okay, the next point, I will talk about individualism versus collectivism. In 1980, Hofstede considered individualism to be a focus on rights above duties, a concern for oneself and immediate family, an emphasis on personal autonomy and self-fulfillment, and the basing of one's identity on one's personal accomplishments. For example, in the United States, a highly individualistic culture sociologists often consider ethnic minority groups to hold more collectivist beliefs and behaviors than average. It's by Kamal Meyer in 2001. And then American society expresses a high degree of individualism in its law and societal values, guaranteeing, for example, freedom of speech and the right to bear arms in its constitution. American vote at low rates and find self-definition through work. And then the next one is, what is the difference between individualistic culture and collectivist culture? The first one is individualistic culture is social network is the primary source of information, and then they use the word I is avoided. And then the second one is collectivist culture is independent self. And then the second point is use of the word I is encouraged. Okay, the next one is masculinity versus femininity. Masculinity is seen to be the trait which emphasizes ambition, acquisition of wealth, and differentiated gender roles. Femininity is seen to be the trait which stress caring and nurturing behavior, sexuality equality, environmental awareness, and more fluid gender roles. A masculine society values assertiveness, courage, strength, and competition. A feminine society values cooperation, nurturing, and quality of life. That's what Hofstede said in 1980. And then for example is girls and women are generally expected to dress in typically feminine ways and be polite, accommodating, and nurturing, while men are generally expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. Okay, sorry. The next one is power distance index. High PDI score indicates that the society accepts an unequal hierarchical distribution of power, and that people understand their place in the system. A low PDI score means that power is shared and is widely dispersed, and that team members do not accept situations where power is distributed unequally. In low power distance index workplaces, employers and managers are more likely to ask employees for input. In fact, those at the lower ends of the hierarchy expect to be asked for their input. That's what Hofstede said in 1980. Okay, the next one, the fourth point is uncertainty avoidance. A high uncertainty avoidance index indicates a low tolerance for uncertainty, ambiguity, and risk-taking. Both the institution and individuals within this society seek to minimize the unknown through strict rules, regulations, and so forth. These dimensions reflect the extent to which members of a society attempt to cope with their anxiety by minimizing uncertainty. In its most simplified form, uncertainty avoidance refers to how threatening change is to a culture. It's by Hofstede in 1980. The fifth one is long-term and short-term. Societies with long-term orientation tend to focus on the future in a way that delays short-term success in favor of success in the long term. These societies emphasize traits such as persistence, perseverance, thrift, saving, long-term growth, and the capacity for adaptation. The end result of this is an emphasis on quick results and respect for tradition. The values of a short-term society are related to the past and the present and can result in unrestrained spending, often in response to social or ecological pressure. Okay, and this is the last point, which is indulgences versus self-restraint. This dimension is a measure of societal impulse and desire control. High levels of indulgence indicate that society allows relatively free gratification and high levels of bon vivre. Meanwhile, restraint indicates that society tends to suppress the gratification of needs and regulate them through social norms. For example, in a highly indulgent society, people may tend to spend more money on luxuries and enjoy more freedom when it comes to leisure time activities. In a restrained society, people are more likely to save money and focus on practical needs. Okay, the next there are intercultural communication ethics. Intercultural communication ethics are the principles and standards that guides of ethical behavior in interaction that happen between individuals or groups from different cultural backgrounds. It includes regarding social differences, understanding the effect of culture on communication, and endeavoring for reasonableness, genuineness, and shared understanding in intercultural traits. Okay, and then there are principles of ethical intercultural communication. The first one we have mutuality. It's like be able to understand the differences in other people, or that we need to accept and understand what other people's minds, perception, and their perspective. And then there are honesty. Be honest with both reality and expectation of others. Reality and expectations are the things that we need to understand and can be the most important thing to do. In the three, there are non-judgmentalists. Be open-minded to express ourselves and others' behavior. Try to not judge other people based on what they believe. And then there are respect. Willing to understand what other people needs and wants. We need to respect people with passion and be committed to it. Okay, so there are key of consideration in intercultural communication ethics. The first one is transparency and honesty. Communicate open and clearly, providing information in a straightforward manner to avoid misunderstanding of misinterpretations across culture. And then there are empathy perspective. Cultivate empathy and understanding for other culture backgrounds, experience, and viewpoints, fostering mutual respect and effective communication.
And then there are avoiding stereotypes. Avoiding stereotypes in intercultural communication ethics is essential for fostering understanding and respect. And then there are cultural sensitivity. Recognize and understand cultural differences, including values, norms, and communication styles to navigate interaction respectfully. And then there are equity and fairness. Ensure equitable participation and representation of all cultural groups in communication process, respecting their voice, perspective, and contribution. And then the last, we have respect differences. Embrace diversity and inclusivity, valuing different perspectives and identities while avoiding stereotypes, discrimination, and prejudice.
Schwartz Cultural Taxonomy. Schwartz Cultural Taxonomy, developed by psychologist Shalom H. Schwartz, categorizes cultural values into the dimension. These dimensions include values such as power, distance, individualism, collectivism, masculinity, femininity, and more. It provides a framework for understanding the diversity of cultural values across different societies. Schwartz Values Framework. Schwartz's theory of basic human values offers a universal model outlining 10 broad values that steer human behavior. That include power, achievement, hedonism, stimulation, self-direction, universalism, benevolence, tradition, conformity, and security. 7 cultural values of Schwartz. Number 1, affective autonomy. Number 2, intellectual autonomy. Number 3, embeddedness. Number 4, egalitarianism. Number 4, hierarchy. Number 5, mastery. And 6, harmony. 10 universal values of Schwartz. Number 1, power. 2, achievement. 3, hedonism. 4, stimulation. 5, self-direction. 6, universalism. 7, benevolence. 8, tradition. 9, conformity. And last, security. Okay, that's all from me about Schwartz Cultural Taxonomy. I hope my explanation can be understood and is useful. That's all from me. Thank you.
I make your speakers bang.
I want to explain a little about Kluckhouse and Stortbeck value orientation. In short, Kluckhouse and Stortbeck are a pair research who developed value orientation theory in 1961. This theory discusses universal cultural value by humans. Their theory states that all human societies. And the first, Kluckhouse and Stortbeck value. The expression of value orientation can be tracked back to the Harvard Values Project, which began in the 1940. Clyde Klook and Frederick Stortbeck in 1961 agreed that all humans' cultural face universal problems arise from humans' relationship with each other, time, activity, and nature. This framework focuses on 5 main problems face humans every cultural, humans in every culture, which will be diffused in the following slides. Second, value orientation theory states that cultural develop unique position on 5 value orientation. A. human relationship with nature. B. Activity. C. Time. And D. Human nature. And E. And A. Social relationship. And human nature today, human are increasing and industrializing and urbanized, and the relationship with nature in screen disconnected. In the future, humans need to find ways to live more sustainably and harmonious with nature. And activity, positive activity such as revolution and environmental conservation can help maintain the balance of nature. And C. Time, people with higher ecological awareness tend to care more about nature and strive to protect it. And D. Human nature, many people dedicate their lives to study, project, and preserving nature. In some cases, people even deliberately destroy nature for personal gain. For example, illegal logging. And humans' relationship with nature, activity, time, humans, nature, and social relationship are the interconnected and influence each other. Understanding this relationship important for building a more sustainable, and harmonious future between humans and nature. And the last, value and orientation value. And the value are principle belief that a person and a group conditioner in important. And B, value orientation is a way that society use to solve universal problems of everyday life.
1, 2, 3, yes. Pabari mo ang gananas ditaruh dalam kulkas. Gak iri yo gak panas. Awak dewe luwe kelas. Hurra!